My nails are so long on this hand for playing electric guitar that sometimes they'll make those sounds on the top of the acoustic. Just trying to get my hand warmed up again this morning. I'm still going to therapy to try to get these hands loosened up. Man, not easy. I'm having to put some work in, do some stretching. Man, he was working on me yesterday up in the forearm area, this spot here, in these tendons and knuckles, and there's spots all over the place, man. I mean, I'm beat up. I was like, man, painful. I mean, drop a full-grown man to his knees, pain, man. I mean, this spot here was like, I mean, shooting pain in there, man. And I know everybody has an opinion on what I need to be doing and all that stuff, but it's whatever works for you, right? But you know, again, you know, these fingers just, maybe I need to keep drinking more water and need to keep working this stuff out. But man, what a trip. Just never thought I'd be having that happen where, you know, literally it takes me all morning and I'm covered in, just woke up here, guys. You know, anyway, working through that, just noodling around here a little on the acoustic for you. Hey, thanks to the guys so far that have bought the record, the new song that we released. I'll put that link in the top of the description. Please check out that. That's a great way to donate to us and help us, you know, be able to save some money to record some new music. So we figured, instead of just asking you to put money in the tip jug and stuff like that, which is always greatly appreciated, and a lot of you guys have been very generous with that, I want to say that you know, to support the song, we're selling the song for $3. It's like a single release, but you can also donate more if you want to help us, you know, like I said, raise money to go in and be recording new music. So like I said in the previous video, you know, for us to be posting a bunch of stuff on social media, but never, you know, getting to the end goal of playing live gigs and recording music, then all this stuff is just kind of like fluff, you know. Not the knowledge, that's right, and that works, but you know, it's like kind of like you know, it's like prepping a bunch of food and never cooking the meal, you know. So we got to do that. So I'll put the link below. Please support us. The trio has a new song out called The Border of Somewhere, written by Tim Marks. We got Jimmy Wallace on the keyboards. And then we recorded it right up the street here at the Cabin Studio. And it's a great song, pretty fun stuff. Sounds really good. Great studio, great engineer. And it's not cheap to do that. So any help from you guys is greatly appreciated. But this is a way for you to kind of donate to what we're doing and support us, but also getting something for it too, right? So it's not free. It will be eventually up for streaming as the new song, as the next song rolls out. So, but I wanted to show you something, guys. I'm getting back to this triad stuff. If you guys really want to move the needle on the guitar, to me, the more I think about it, you know, if there was a shortcut, which I hate saying that, but if there was, I think this is what it would be. And again, this is the sequence that I'll always stick to. The chord. The thing about the cage system is having these chord positions in you know, and the proper fingerings around those, and knowing these shapes, G, C, D, all in one area, right? That's what's going to open up the guitar the fastest. Seeing these chords, you know, and how this is all laid out. So again, the chord, if I had to really break this down even more than I have in the past, the chord, the triads of the chord, then the arpeggio. But see, the triads, when you start breaking it into triads, proper triads are not going to just be in that one position. But the arpeggio and the pentatonic and the major scale will. So that's why I say the chord, the arpeggio, the pentatonic, the major scale. Then the triads, right? Then the D shape. The D shape, you only get a proper triad right here and here. This, the B, G, D, and A string, you don't get a proper triad on those. So you only get, so if I want to make a melody, I'm not going to use these parts of that chord. Okay, well, I could do that. But I'd rather go instead of, that just doesn't really have the melodic content. So the root, the fifth, the root doesn't sound as good as third, fifth, root, because it's the triad. You're getting that harmony instead of, that's just ones and fives. That's not 3, 5, 1, right? So the triad, triads are where it's at. So the homework assignment is to play the triads on 3 strings in the key of G, only on these 3 strings. Then the next set of 3 strings. Then the next. Then the next. Okay, well then do the 1, 4, 5 in each spot. Okay, for me to get the proper harmony, I have to either go here. I don't want to do that for my C. I want to keep it closed position. So I'm going to have to jump up to the G-shaped C chord to get that proper triad, because that's not a proper triad, and I don't want to do that because that takes me out of my harmonic and melodic properties. So if I just go, that doesn't sound as good as, because you're hearing the inner windings of these triads, right? Okay, so there's 1, 4, 5 on each group of 3 strings. Then here, that's not a proper triad, so I've got a proper triad in this E-shaped G chord here, 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 but not here. I have to jump up to here to get a proper triad. So that's why this stuff is moving around. So again, that D is coming from the C shape, right? So E-shaped G, A-shaped C, C-shaped D, back to the root. If I'm here, D-shaped G, G-shaped C, A-shaped D. So that's why how the chords are inverting, and that's why when we play a triad, it starts sounding like music because you're playing the notes that are in the chord. Okay, if I'm in the C shape, all 1, 4, 5 triads on all groups of 3 strings. Then that's 1, 4, 5, G, C, D, G, right? Okay, then what you need to do is take those triads and build the 4 sounds. G major, G major 7, G dominant 7, G minor, right? If I go to this triad, G, G major 7, G dominant 7, G minor. It's all starting to be built sequentially, and it's starting to come together. Okay, if I know that the root goes down a half step to make major 7, the root goes down a whole step to make dominant 7, the third goes down a half step to make minor, well then I'm just applying that same concept to every major triad across the fingerboard in the key of G. And it's not endless. There's only a few major triads on each group of 3 strings, but you have to compartmentalize it down to seeing that. You know, so then if I'm playing G minor, C minor, D7, yeah, or you know, these are all triads. Connect this stuff with all the information that I've been showing you for years, and that starts connecting things melodically. But there can't be any holes, or there's going to be holes in your playing. So every chord has to be accounted for. Luckily, there's only 5 shapes. You know, you've got the G, open G, the E shape, the D shape, the C shape, the A shape, and then you're up to square one, the G shape. If I'm in A, G shape, E shape, D shape, C shape, A shape, D, C shape, first invert, you know, inversions, same chord, inverting up the fingerboard, right? So if I'm here in D, there's my G, there's my A, there's my D. If I'm here, there's my D, there's my G, there's my A, there's my D. If I'm up here, D, G, A, D, right? And it starts connecting. Ended up in the key of G there, D for a minute, but let's stay there. So that's right out of the chord. See, I'm just playing that. I'm playing the notes of the chord, but I'm not leaving my fingers pressed down on that, because if I do, then I can't do anything with these. So as soon as I hit the notes of the chord, my fingers raise up and they go to the next note. But I'm playing. So that's D, ba, 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 G, ba, ba, D, ba, 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 A, the 5 of A, ba, 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 D7. So as soon as I hit D7, that flat 7 note of D, C, is a half step above the major third of the G chord. Then then A7 resolves right back to the major third of the D chord. So if I'm playing D7, right to G, right? But if I'm here, you're always a half step away from that tritone, and that's the sound of the chords moving. D, D7, G, G7, back to D, A, A7, so D7, your major third for the 4 chord is right behind it. So it's this sound. You're hearing that. You just keep extending it because you're using these triads. So another great exercise. Let's just take this. D, let's take the A shape. D chord, D7, just 3 strings. G, G7, D, D7, A, A7. Okay, let's go here. D. You can see that same G7 is, if I'm in that same shape, it's going to be the same fingering. D, D7, G, G7, D, D7. The major third that's really going to mark the sound of the 5 chord is right behind A7. So wherever you have a major triad, try to do the 1 to the 7, 4, 4, 7, D, D7, A, A7. Now I'm on the B, G, and D string. But you gotta, if you don't spend time mapping this stuff out, the needle's really never gonna move. You gotta connect this stuff. It is absolutely crucial. And then you can take exercises like this, you know. I've shown you guys these a bunch, you know, like if I'm in G, just so we have more ramp, you know, fingerboard to ramp up and down on this 12 fret guitar. If this is my G, this is my C, and this is my D, go. I'm just making something up stupid, but you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's something really kind of dumb and simple, but those kind of exercises, it's all about the hand position too, man. The hand positions are just absolutely crucial because right there. I'm playing, you know, sloppy to get all this stuff through, but that's the idea, you know. So it's about lightening up, knowing the big chords, but knowing we don't have to have our whole hands covering those. We want to lighten up, get into triads, so our fingers are, you know, available to do little. You know, when I go to F, C, I don't need to go. I don't need to play those big giant chords. So I hope this shows you. And then when you're playing these triads, you're seeing, okay, that's that part. Then that's that part. The third and the root. The third and the root. Those are everywhere. That's the scale, and just harmonize with that, with the third. Okay, guys, look, I know that's a lot of stuff, but I want to show you the things to work on. Don't get distracted with all this really complicated theory and people telling you like, okay, well, when you're on the 5 chord, that's really the 2 chord of the 6 chord, and you need to think of D as the blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, man, it's this simple right here. That's the 4 chord. That's the 1 chord. This is the 5 chord. 1, G, 4, C, G, D, G, D. That's the sound of the 5 chord. It's not, we don't want to be thinking about some other key and all this bullshit. We want to think of the key we're in and the chords that are changing underneath. To go from G to C, that's the kind of stuff you want to work on. Those little simple things that move the needle and make music, right? We don't want to be doing this, you know. I mean, that might be a nice little finger warm up for 2 seconds, but if you're going to do that, work on a scale. You know, do something that's going to be musical while you're working this stuff out. But there's a little bit of that, folks, just kind of reiterating a little bit of what I've been talking about and getting back to like what you really need to practice and what I would be working on if I were you, trying to map out the guitar, which I am also. You can tell I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I've just played the guitar a long time. I've played a lot of different kinds of music in a lot of different situations with a lot of different people. And at this point, you know, I got a little experience under my belt, which I'm proud to say. But other than that, had a great hang with Billy Gibbons yesterday, and a car guy here that takes care of everybody's cars. He's a real awesome guy, and Billy's known him since he was 12 years old. And so I went to my therapy thing, and Billy called, and I called him back, and I said, man, where are you at? He goes, oh, I'm right down the street. I said, dude, let's meet over at the Mexican joint and sit and powwow and have a little taco and maybe a margarita or a cold beer or something. And Billy goes, all right, man, I'll see you over there. So we sat there, man, and held court in this place. We showed up, there wasn't anybody there. We sat down, got a nice table, and then by the time we left, the place was packed, and he'd taken some photos with some people, and just, we talked about everything from our hands to cars to digital versus analog records, and making, you know, the time he brought, 1986, he brought the first digital machine to Nashville. It's a whole story. I mean, there's just, the stories are never ending. The guy is absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Tomorrow we've got the Sunset Cruise for my buddy's birthday. We're going to go out and play some music. I think Billy's going to join us, and he even mentioned bringing a guitar, which would be a rare delight for us. But anyway, just the adventure continues. We're having fun in Nashville. Check out the song. Please support us, friends. You know, it helps us. You know, we can't just be posting videos on Instagram without making some music. So when we do, we would really, really appreciate your support. You can buy the song for $3, or you can give more if you want, if you're feeling inspired. But we got a lot of stuff we're working on, friends. There's been some great meetings. There's even more happening today, and we've got some stuff in the works that we're going to be releasing next year. Some big things that are really going to, I think, be the next chapter of my life. And so thanks so much, friends. Over and out. I know this was a long video, but just don't forget, use your ear. Try to make music. This stuff does not have to be complicated. It just takes a little bit of work. When these light bulbs start clicking, you know, you know, I mean, that's a lot of notes, but when you start hearing that, that's just G, G7, C, C7, G, G7, D, D7, but in an order and in a little bit of a pattern to where it makes sense harmonically. All right, friends, thank you so much. I've blabbed on way long enough. It's time for me to go get some coffee, get my shit together, and get on with what is going to be hopefully another relaxing but productive day. All right, y'all. See you soon. Thanks.